Hello,
Hello.
everybody. This, don't worry, it's just ginger ale, but
We like
it
to pretend to
looks
be fancy.
fancy.
It does.
Fancy,
Oh,
fancy.
yes. Mm-hmm. I love me some ginger ale with some
Strawberries.
strawberry ice cubes.
They're not quite ice cubes.
They're pretty
They
close
were
to ice cubes.
frozen, but now they're pretty unfrozen.
Meh, whatever.
Anyway, good evening, everybody. I'm Danny Tippett. This is David Tippett.
Hello.
And we wanted to hop on here. We're breaking open the candy already. It's going to be a rough one. We wanted to share our love story with you all. Yes.
Alright, guys. They're hearts. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to share our love story. Basically just the story of us, how we met, how we became a couple.
And now we're married.
Now we're married. Wow, can you imagine that?
So, I mean, a lot of people don't know our full story. A lot of people know bits and pieces of it because you kind of jumped in, jumped out, jumped all around, you know?
Yeah.
So we wanted to share from
From
start
the
to
beginning.
now because it's not the finish yet.
Surprise. Yeah.
Of how Danny and David came to be. So,
You want to go ahead?
sure, I'll
Go
start.
ahead and start. Yeah.
So, first, as a lot of people know, we both worked at Starbucks. So David started working at Starbucks in the summer of 2013. And then a few months later, I started working there. So I started working there October 14th, 2013, which, side note, that's David's half birthday. Okay, I know, like most people, most people are like, okay, his half birthday, who cares? But I don't know.
I think it's pretty exciting.
Every little sign is like a cool thing.
Yeah, it's a little neat thing.
So I started working at Starbucks on his half birthday. That's when we met. And we really were just coworkers at that point. I mean, I guess you could say we were friends, but we didn't hang
We were more
outside
like
of work.
colleagues, you know. And
Right.
I kind of thought she was cute. I noticed that she wore rings all the time. So I was like, oh, she's cute. She's in high school. She totally has a boyfriend. He's probably really buff dude. And I'm like, I was a skinny guy. I'm like, I am not trying to go up against that guy.
I'm a
So I'm just
skinny
going to
girl.
let...
Oh, got it.
Yeah. I'm not going to go up and like fight your boyfriend. So I thought she was cute though. Anyhow.
So I was 16, David was 18, so we were little babies. We still are little babies, but so that was 4 years ago. That's a long time ago, man. Gosh.
Yep.
So we just worked at Starbucks together, and nothing really, like, we didn't really think anything of it at that point. Besides, I guess he thought I was cute. I didn't know that. I was just like, oh yeah, I work with him, whatever. So, oh wait, you already said that part.
Yeah.
Okay, so a while into me working, it was actually a year into me working at Starbucks. What are you doing?
I was eating a strawberry.
Don't be icky. People are going to hop off here because they're going to think you're gross.
I'm gross.
I
As a matter
know,
of fact.
but they don't need to know that. Oh, good Lord. Okay, anyway, so Halloween the next year, so Halloween 2014, so a year after I had been working at Starbucks, a year after I had known him, right?
Yeah, it was about a year.
2014.
Yeah.
It was 2014, after Japan.
Yeah, after Japan. After I went to California, got a job,
Cool.
went to Japan,
Cool.
came back.
So, right. That's irrelevant. That's another story for another time. Anyway, so Halloween, my friend and I, Molly, shout out to Molly if she ever watches this. I don't think you have a Facebook. Do you have a Facebook?
It's okay.
I think she only has an Instagram.
it's
Whatever.
gotta be.
So Molly and I went to Starbucks on Halloween, and David happened to be working, and he was wearing a kimono, Japanese kimono.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
A kimono, the wooden slippers, I had the sword, I had everything. I was full setup. I was Samurai Jack, in case anyone asked, but no one really cares or asked. But that's okay. I was a samurai for Halloween that one year
So-
in
and-
Starbucks,
and-
and my sword almost knocked over like 12 drinks. Just total side note, but that's okay. Go ahead, Danny.
okay. That was uncalled for. Thanks, though.
Oh, many times. Love you.
So, my friend Molly is, we're We're in Starbucks, ordering our drinks, whatever. We sit down, we leave, whatever. I don't even know what happens. And when we go to the car, she goes, who's that guy working the window? Who is that guy? And I was like, oh, that's David. And she was like, he's really cute. Would you? Sorry, Molly. But, like, she was not saying for her. She was like, he's really cute. Would you ever date him? And I was like, no way. I was like, he is weird. He's awkward. I'm sorry. He's
okay.
Annoying. Like, I honestly had no interest, didn't even think about it. And when she brought it up, I was like, yeah, he might be kind of cute, but he's definitely not my type. He's so annoying. He was a 19-year-old dude. Like,
in Danny's defense, in case anyone's wondering, I actually was really annoying. And it was kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to pick on the cute girl.
Yeah. Not cool. Not cool.
Anyway.
So anyway, yeah, I was like, no way. No way. And that was that.
Yep. And then come like, I guess it was just around February of the next year. I was like, it was just around Valentine's Day. I was like, oh wow, you know, Danny's kind of cute. I'm like, oh yeah. That was not cute. I was like, oh yeah, she's kind of cute. She loves Jesus, I think. Yeah, she does. I'm like, I should try, you know, checking her out.
Maybe.
Checking her out. Like, officially checking her out. I was like low-key checking her out up to that point, but I was like, nah, I actually need to officially check her out. So I started being weird, you know, like sending her text messages like, oh yeah, how's your day going?
And I was like, okay, you have my number because you work with me, so it's not like you asked me for my number or anything.
Right.
And
I felt
was
bad
like,
about that too.
what?
I did. I felt a little bit bad that
It's
I wasn't
okay,
like,
whatever.
I was like, I had her number because of work, so I was like, oh, this is just convenient.
Okay, so he started texting me, and then he started coming into Starbucks and studying. Only when I was working.
Studying.
So I
She
would
didn't
work
know that though.
the night shift. Oh, please. I worked the night shift all the time, and so every time I was working, just about every time I was working, he would be in there studying, like the whole time I was working, and
It was a little bit creepy, okay? I get it, guys. No need to, like, comment
he was
or anything.
very
Not that anyone's
interested.
commenting, but it's okay.
Oh, also, if you guys have questions or whatever while we're talking, you can always comment. This is interactive.
Below.
You don't have to just watch creepily and not say
Unless
hello.
you're watching us
Say hello! Say hello! Hi!
Okay, all right.
Okay,
yeah.
anyway. So, yeah, he started studying at Starbucks, and that's when I kind of started to notice something's going on here. Like, not really sure, but kind of like, okay, what, like, something is up in his little head over here. So what's going on? So one night I was working. Hey, Abby. So one night I was working, and David was there studying as always, and I had just gotten off my shift, and at the just about the same time, we both went out to our cars at the same time. But David was already in his car, and he waved to me as I was leaving, and I had a handful of stuff. I had like 2 huge iced coffees because, you know, you can bring home
Coffee.
your drinks from work, yeah. And then I had, you know, my purse and like my sweater and my hat and my apron. I was like, ugh. So he waves to me as he's driving off. So he's driving off, and he waves to me, and I'm like, bye! Because I couldn't. Hey, Tara.
Hey, Tara, I miss you.
So I was like, bye, but I couldn't wave. So I walk in, go to my car. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm putting my stuff down in my car, and then all of a sudden I see this car pull up next to me. And it was David, and I was like, wait, he just left. What is he doing? So he literally pulled around
around the building. Yeah.
And parked right back in the same spot. I was like, hey. So I rolled my window down because he rolled his window down.
And I was like, your window down.
And he said, hey, are you free this weekend? And I was like, thinking he wants me to cover his shift or something. So I'm like thinking about my schedule. And it totally caught me off guard. So I was like, I don't know. But I was actually going out of town that weekend. So then I was like, oh, no, I'm going out of town. Sorry. And this whole
was
time, I'm thinking, well, he just wants me to cover a shift. And I just said no. The end. And he was like, oh, okay, have a good night, and just left. I was like, okay, that was weird. So I'm driving home, and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, wait a second. He didn't want me to cover his shift. he wanted to, he wanted to go out. Right?
So yeah, I did. So a little backstory on that. I was sitting there and I was like, tonight's the night. I'm like, David, you're gonna do it. Yeah. Do all this manly stuff. Like, yeah, I'm gonna ask her out. Totally chicken. Like, I straight chicken. And went in my car. I was in my car. I'm like, well, this is awkward now because I'm in my car and her hands are obviously full. She's not stopping. So she was going to her car. So I backed out and I was like all like sad. I'm like, David, you were supposed to do it. Tonight was the night you were going to ask her out, whatever. So I drove around the building, and it is ginger ale with strawberries.
You know, it looks great. It's just ginger ale, unfortunately.
So I drove around the building. I'm like, no, I'm going back. And I'm doing this now. So I drove back, pulled in. I was like rolling the window down, telling her like, hey, roll your window down.
Okay, yeah, we heard that part.
Yeah, anyhow.
So he was devastated.
I was literally torn apart. I was like, oh, she just shut me down and didn't even think twice.
He's like, okay, well, that's ice that. Cold, guess we're not doing anything with that. Great. So I go home and I'm like, wait a second. No, that was not to cover a shift. So I text him because he's a nice guy. I mean, we weren't really friends, but I could tell he was interested in the fact that he was coming in all the time and whatever. So
doing weird things.
I was like, why not just give this dude a chance? Like, the worst thing that could happen is we don't get along, we don't have a good time, whatever, and that's the end of that. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll text him. And so I said, hey, I'm sorry I am busy this weekend, but maybe next weekend we could do something. And that rocked his world.
I was super excited. I was totally ready. So I'm like, all right, yeah, cool girl, I got you, yeah. And we ended up.
Don't talk with your mouth full, Icky.
I'm sorry, this is really good. I'm eating Junior Mints on the side as well. Our post-Valentine's Day chocolate. Good. But I was like, yeah, we should go to like Einstein's or something like that. Totally weird. The day we picked was 3/14/2015.
Exaggerate.
3.1415, which in case those don't know, those are the first couple numbers of pi. So it was like
Pi Day of the century.
It's not happening again for another 100 years or so.
And it was Einstein's that we went to. Like, how crazy weird is that?
And they were celebrating Pi Day as well. So, yeah. We went in there.
Everybody was celebrating Pi Day. So, yeah, March 14th was our first date. So, we talked. We had a good time. It was a little awkward because, first dates are always awkward. But I got to learn a lot about him. He learned a lot about me. And at the end of the date, we were like, okay, David said, we should do this again sometime.
I was excited.
And we did. So, obviously. So we went on dates because we weren't actually like official,
seeing each other then. We
whatever.
weren't dating.
For 2 months. And we weren't official. We were just like trying to get to know each other as more than coworkers. Even though we had already known each other for a year and a half, we didn't really know each other. So we wanted to get to know each other before we went into anything serious. And so, yeah, we went on dates for 2 months, and I was always so nervous he was going to ask me out, and I wouldn't be ready. And
just like, what do I do if he asks me out? How do I tell him no? Just kidding.
No. All right, so tell the story of when you asked me out, and don't make it super long. They don't need every detail.
Yeah, I know. So I was getting out of school, though, and basically Danny texted me. She's like, hey, so my parents just sold the house, so that was one, very exciting. And you had just gotten
out of an AP
exam. So we were going to go over there and celebrate. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm like, this is the chance I've been waiting for. So we get over there, we celebrate. They had like cupcakes. It was
that was
really
not
fantastic.
The first time you met my parents, though.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
No, I met them at the circus, or before the circus.
Right. Okay.
Right. So anyhow, did that.
I just sneeze.
Afterwards, bless you. Bless you. afterwards we went out to a park and we were walking. We did like almost 2 miles that day.
It was the Dismal Swamp Trail.
Yeah.
If any Hampton Roaders know,
Right.
it's just like a long walking trail
Yeah.
things. And there's bears.
There are
And
bears.
he scared me when we were walking. He was like, "Yeah, there's bears in here," and I was like,
Anyhow.
okay.
Yeah, so we were walking back. I'm like ticking down the mile markers. I'm like, all right, we're like 1 mile away. Or sorry, like 2 miles away from the end. We're like 1.5. We're like 1 mile away. We're 0.5 miles away. We're 0.25 miles away. And I'm like, all right, it's now or never. So I kind of like
Now or
subtly transition. I'm like, yeah, by the way, we've been seeing each other for a little bit, and I was like, you're really cool, I really like you, but I want to like take this up a notch, and I really want to get to know you well. So would you mind dating me?
Do you want to be my girlfriend?
Do you want to be my girlfriend?
And I
That's
said,
pretty much it. Yeah,
sure. That's what I
she's pretty casual.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll date you. Yeah.
I didn't want to give too much emotion, like, yes, I've been waiting for this.
Right, I think we both were kind of like that, because I was like, yeah, girlfriend, I'm so cool with my girlfriend, and she's cute.
For those of you that don't know, too, I've never had a boyfriend before. He's my
that's
first
true.
one and only, and so I had never done this. So that's kind of why we took the whole 2 months to get to know each other before we even take that step. And as you'll see throughout our relationship, we took things very slowly. For that reason, partially, but we'll get to that. What we were about to say.
Your dad.
My daddy.
Her daddy-o.
Love my daddy. He's a little crazy. How many of you know him? So, he's great. He
He's
really
awesome.
is. My parents are great. They
No,
really
they're-
are.
They're fantastic.
They really are.
Yeah.
But they're a little crazy, and that's okay. That's why I'm crazy. But, so I go home that night after, David drops me off back at home, and I had to tell my parents. And I don't know why I was intimidated, but I was. Well, I know why I was intimidated. But anyway, so I told my mom first, I think. I told my mom first. I don't know. You weren't there. And I said, David asked me to be his girlfriend. And I said yes. Now, mind you, I forgot to mention this. Before we became boyfriend and girlfriend, I talked to both of my parents separately. I talked to my mom and I was like, I really think this is headed towards a dating relationship. I really think that's what this is going to turn into. Not sure, but I think that's going to happen. Are you okay with that? Like, I was 17 and I respect my parents' opinions and, all of their thoughts on this kind of stuff. So I wanted to make sure they were okay with it because I didn't want to say yes to him if they were saying no. And so I asked my mom, and she was like, yeah, David's a great guy, whatever. If that's what you feel like the next step is, you want to do, great. I even went on a walk with my dad. We went on just a walk with me and him, and I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, that's okay. Like, you can do it.
Very cool.
So, you knew that.
I had forgotten that.
Okay. So I had already asked them, so I knew, and I thought that this was going to be totally fine. Like, I would tell them, and then they would be like, oh, cool, great, awesome, because I already asked them. Well, what my dad says, the first thing that he says is, okay, well, you aren't seeing him again until me and him go out to coffee together. And I was like, Dad, that's so not cool. Like, no, that's
Super
not
lame.
fair. Like,
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What are you going to do to him? Like, no, I asked you about this, it's fine. Like, what are you talking about?
And I was super intimidated, not gonna lie. Being
My
like
dad
a
is not scary at all.
19-year-old dude, I was like, oh man, I have to have the talk with the dad. So I was like kind of preparing myself mentally, and actually it was really cool. So he and I went out for coffee, and he basically just sat me down. He's like, hey, listen, I just want to have a relationship with you. He's like, if you're going to have a relationship with my daughter and you're going to be a part of our lives, then it's important that you and I develop a relationship so that, down the road we're all like essentially friends. We're all friendly. I mean, seriously, it was the weirdest thing. And so he introduced himself, like, he's like, yeah, I'm Burley, like, ex-Marine, blah, blah, blah. And then he of course, he did. He was like, yeah. Then he was like, no, I'm just kidding. I just really want to have a relationship with you, which I thought was really cool because I'm a relational person. That's the thing, I guess.
We all are, but...
Yeah, we're all relational people, but I definitely appreciated him. And he just, we just had a good talk, which was really strange and awesome. I was like, all right, cool, yeah. Friends with her dad. Score. Yeah.
Yeah, bonus points.
Bonus points, check. But yeah.
Okay, so now we're just going to talk about our relationship in general while we were dating. So we had boundaries set in place while we were dating. And that was, well, go ahead, because when we were talking about this, you said this really perfectly, and I told him I wouldn't be able to say it that perfectly.
Basically, we put a lot of boundaries up because we wanted to honor God and honor each other. That was it. Right. It was just also respect her parents too, because her parents, when they when we first started dating, they said, well, we only want to see each other once a week, which I was like, all right, that's kind of not cool. But then again, actually, my parents were only allowed to see each other once a month.
Ooh, burn.
Yeah, once a month while they were dating. I'm like, yeah, it's not as bad as it could be. And
let me tag you.
I tried convincing Danny of that. Oh yeah, go ahead and tag me. I tried convincing Danny of that as well, and she was having a hard time. I was having a hard time because it's like, who wants to be told, like, no, I'm an adult, I can do this.
Right.
But yeah, so we kept that up, though, because we saw the importance of that.
Dang it, it's not going to work, and I don't know how to do it.
It's okay. I'll just share on my phone. Go ahead.
Good idea. Okay, yeah, so we were only able to see each other once a week, but then we also put physical boundaries in place because, like he said, we wanted to honor God and honor each other and have a godly relationship. We didn't want to do anything that we knew was not right. So I think, and even like he was saying, seeing each other once a week, you know, it seemed like a silly rule at first. But it really did help. It really helped us pace our relationship well and not go, good. And not, like, go too fast.
Right.
It helped us to really just...
Yeah, slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
Make sure we're focusing on each other. Getting to know each other rather than focusing on all of these other things.
Right.
Right. When is our first kiss going to be? When are we going to hold hands? I mean, those were all thoughts. But the cool thing was after like 5 months or so.
Okay. It's okay.
Hold on.
It's okay,
Sorry,
good.
like just reading along. After...
we didn't hold hands for 5 months.
Yeah, we didn't hold hands
So we were dating for 5 months, and that's not including the 2 months beforehand that we did our pre-dating or whatever you want to call it. We didn't hold hands for 5 months. Now, every couple is different. We're not saying, like, every couple should wait 5 months to hold hands or longer or shorter or whatever. Every couple is different, but for us, that's what was right. And that's what we felt was the right timing. And then it was really important to me, and we talked about everything. See, so
all the time.
And when a relationship is not focused on the physical aspect, when it's focused on the emotional aspect and getting to know each other intimately emotionally rather than physically, like a lot of people do, that if you get to know somebody physically first, it
clouds your vision.
Totally.
You're thinking like, oh, well, if I don't say I love you, then we're not intimate. But it can be really easy to jump ahead and in a moment say I love you, but loving someone's like something really deep, like seriously hardcore. And it was nice because we didn't have any of those problems with like the physical stuff clouding our vision. So we were I was able to say to Danny, I love you. This is exactly why I love you. And actually it was really special to me because she didn't say it that day back to me. And I felt great because I was like, I knew that my decision to say I love you and to tell her that I loved her was not based off of like, oh, I feel passionate about you. It was like legit. I had nothing to gain by telling her I love her, because we weren't being very physical at that point in time. We weren't holding hands, we weren't kissing or anything.
We were holding hands.
Or we were holding hands, but that was it. It was pretty low key.
Maybe a little hug here and there.
Hug
but...
there. Oh yeah, scandalous. But yeah. So it was really nice because I was able to just convey to her how much I loved her, and that I could say very easily. It's not just because I'm like passionate or something like that, because I wasn't getting anything out of it, you know. So it was. By that I mean like. Yeah,
okay, whatever. We get it.
Yes. It was nice.
Yes.
And then a couple days later.
And just, oh yeah, well, the next time we saw each other, I said I love you back, or I said I love you as well.
After
I just didn't
it.
want to say it just in response to what he was saying. I definitely felt it at that point, but I didn't want to be like,
she wanted to make
just
sure.
say it just because he did.
Right.
So yes, and I think that was something that was very important to me my whole life, honestly, is I don't want to kiss somebody until we know that we love each other. And so we hadn't kissed yet. And we didn't kiss until 9 months of dating. And that's not including that 2 months of pre-dating. So it's almost a year. Like, you know what I mean?
We
like
almost
it was
a year without kissing.
It was a long time, and not a lot of people can say that. Some people can say that even more. But yeah, but I think that was really important, and it gave us a lot of self-discipline, and it just set us up for a good relationship from there on out.
It was a little bit difficult at times, though, because Danny, having had this been her first relationship, had her guard up. She was like a wall, and I was like sitting here outside of the wall, like throwing pebbles over. I'm like trying like hammers. I'm like
my little Romeo
trying chainsaws. I'm like, I'm gonna break through her wall, because she had this wall, and it was like an emotional wall. She was just not ready to fully commit, which is something that was very respectable, and honestly it made me really think, am I willing to still keep chopping at this wall? I had to think that a lot. I was like, this wall is pretty tough, you know. I mean, I love you, but it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do, but it was nice because through that whole process, I was able to, for me, find out how committed I really was to the relationship, and through that, and through us talking about that, like, and I even told her, I confronted her, and we talked for a very long time. I'm like, Danny, I feel like you're putting a wall between us. This is preventing our relationship from progressing, because you're not opening up to me emotionally. And she did. And as a result...
The what?
Proposal.
Oh, yeah. Well, first, I also wanted to say, he pursued me from day one. And I firmly believe it, that the man has to pursue the woman. And I don't even know why, but seriously, like, he kept going after me, and he was not going to give up on me, and that's how I knew he truly loved me, and he truly felt that we were supposed to be together. And because at first, like he was saying, I was nervous. I had a wall up. I'd never been in a relationship before, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm young. I had no interest in dating anyone at all. Like, I was going to find somebody in college. I even told him this a long time before he even started. Well, I don't even know if he was considering me then. But when we were working together at Starbucks one day, he was like, so how are you going to find your husband, whatever? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to meet my husband. We're going to get married. We're going to have 5 kids, whatever. You know, I had my whole life planned out. But that's not how it works. And it was really kind of crazy because I wasn't looking for somebody. You don't have to be looking for somebody for them to come along. And he truly did pursue me, and still does every single day.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Way to ruin that. Alright, sit up.
Okay.
Gosh.
I love you too.
Okay, so the proposal. We're going to talk about the proposal. So
yeah.
Oh, I put both, so I guess we're both talking about this. So, it was July 21st, 2016. Gosh. Brain. Yeah, 2016. And David had taken the day off work, And because I had the day off, and we needed a date badly because we were only able to see each other once a week, and we had so much schoolwork to do. Every time we saw each other, we were just studying and doing schoolwork. It was awful, miserable, OMG. So, we were going to Botanical Gardens, which is one of our favorite places to go for dates, and it was in July, so it was warm, but I love hot weather. So hot. I was like, let's go outside, let's walk around,
hot.
Let's see some flowers, and he's being dramatic because it was perfect weather. It was beautiful. Oh, no, I was hot too.
No, we had to
sit down
stop
like every 5
20
seconds.
feet. Yeah. It was really hot.
But it was fine. It was great. So I had this major feeling. I knew this was going to be the day he was going to propose. And so, we're walking around, and, I did my makeup all pretty, and because I was like, he's going to propose, I'm going to need to look good. So we're walking around and taking some pictures and walking around, and nothing's happening. And I'm like, okay, guess I mean, maybe I'll wait a little bit longer, but I don't think it's happening. So we go to the car to go. I thought that we were leaving. Little did I know he had packed our lunch for us, and we were going to eat our lunch on top of the hill at Botanical Gardens, but I thought we were leaving. And so I was like, you know what? Stop getting your hopes up. It's not happening today. Don't be disappointed. Just enjoy your time. And so that's what I told myself. Then he grabs the lunchbox as I'm like getting in the car, and he's like, where are you going? I was like, aren't we leaving? And he's like, no. So we go up to the hill at Botanical Gardens. If you guys are around Norfolk area, there's a big hill, and it overlooks like airport. Planes. Yeah, airport. And so you get to see the planes take off and whatever. And we sat there all the time for eating lunch or whatever. Whatever we sat there for. So we go up there and we sit down and go ahead.
It's okay. And then David sets up a camera because I'm like, hey, look, I got this new nerd toy that lets me take camera pictures remotely. So let's try it out. So I set up the camera. And little did she know, in the camera, I had actually, in the little battery compartment, I had stowed the ring. So I'm like sitting there with the camera facing us, and the camera's actually recording a video. So I'm sitting there, the camera's facing us, recording a video, and she's just like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm like trying to click the thing. I'm like, oh, it's not working. Let me check the battery. So I'm opening up the battery compartment, and she turns away while I pull out the ring. I was really lucky, and I went back and I turned around and I was on my knee, and she turns back and she goes, oh my gosh. I'm like, Danny, and then I do the whole spiel.
So here's my version of the story.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, he's setting up this tripod, putting his phone on it, and I think nothing of it because we take pictures all the time. Yeah. And I was like, great, we're taking a picture. Awesome, sounds good. And he's like, go sit over there. I sit over there where the picture is because he wanted to come in and then, click the little button which takes the picture on the phone.
Sorry.
So I'm sitting over there waiting for him. He comes over and yeah, he's clicking the button. It's not working. And it's hot at this point. And I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. Let's just eat our lunch. Like, take the picture. Just take the picture. So he can't click it, and then I try to click it, and I'm like, what the heck? It's not working. It's not clicking. That's weird. And so I just looked the other way. I'm like,
and while she's doing that, I'm pulling out the ring. Like,
he's pulling out the ring, and I turn back around, and I'm like looking in the distance, so I don't even see that he's holding the ring. And then he's like, what's this? And I look down. And I'm just like,
oh, that's right, because you weren't even looking at the ring. I actually had to point her to. I'm like, huh, what's this?
I know, he literally was like, what's this? And I was like, ah!
And then she 20 or 30 times is like, is this real?
Oh, yeah.
Is this real?
It's like, no way!
And
so exciting. So yeah, then he proposed. Obviously, I said yes. I think maybe somewhere in there if I did or not.
We celebrated. She didn't realize I had actually told her sister and brother, so they actually came in from out of town while we were just for this to celebrate with us, which was super awesome. By the way, thank you, Allie and Patrick. That was the coolest.
Hashtag thank you.
Hashtag,
I can't do that thing that you do.
What do you mean?
Hashtag
thanks.
Yeah, but did you see? I did this. That's not a hashtag. This is a hashtag.
It's not a hashtag.
Okay. Yes, my family came from out of town. We celebrated with both families. It was really cool. We went to Starbucks that day and took a little cute picture like, we're engaged, OMG. Oh, another thing is, I guess I can keep my wedding band on. So the engagement ring, look at that rock. Isn't it beautiful? Mm-hmm. So this ring was actually his grandmother's ring. Mm-hmm. And so it's just super, super special. Totally different.
Actually, take it off. I want to read. Oh, you can't read the engraving.
No, you're not going to be able to see that.
That's okay.
But anyway, yeah. So it's his grandmother's ring, which makes it all the more special.
Awesome.
So, okay. So then, obviously we were engaged, guys, for 13 months before we got married.
Again, the struggle bus. It was a really long time.
And I know, like, people date for, like, years and years and years, like 5, 7 years, and I don't even know how long we dated, not that long.
Yeah, God bless you all. We did not have that patience.
We did not. So, our wedding date, that was the next struggle bus decision we had to make. Right. We had a very complex situation going on because we were both in school, college, and we both didn't have, like, super stable, awesome jobs at the time.
Right.
And so everybody was like, okay, well, you need to get a good job. You need to have a lot of money. You need to be done with school. You can't be paying student loans. You can't be
you're taking classes, all this stuff. It was hard because it's like I was working technically 2 part-time jobs. She was working just a part-time job. I was in community college at the time, so there were a lot of people who were saying a lot of different things, and it was hard for us because we were like, well, yeah, you're right, but I mean, like, we can't wait forever to get married. So we were talking about, like, spring of 2017, which would have been our ideal because that was super early. We talked about August of 2017, December of 2017. A lot of people were suggesting May 2018.
That's what everybody wanted.
And we were like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait that long. And we didn't, I mean, we had...
Guys, May 2018 is still not even here yet.
Right.
We've been married for 6.5 months already, and holy moly. Like,
right.
No.
It was really hard.
No, that would have been so bad. So we decided that we were going to pray together every single night about this because we were serious. We were not...
Yeah.
Okay, my parents especially said, we're not in favor of you getting married before May 2018 because that's when I was supposed to graduate. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I was going to be done with school, so at least there was that. So they wanted May 2018. And my mom especially was like, I am not in favor of that, but if you hear from the Lord and you know that it's the right timing for a different date, then I'm not going to stop the Lord, basically. So we prayed together every single night about this topic specifically. When are we supposed to get married? A specific date. Like, we needed a specific date.
We're like, God, show us their date.
And we kept getting August 6th. Like,
we watched every single door. For all of the other days we were looking at December, it was like gone. Yeah, it was actually phenomenal, and we decided on the day, and it wasn't until after we decided on the day that we had a lot of questions like, how are we going to pay for college? Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to live? How are we going to afford all of this? God answered 2 of our prayers at the same time because I got a job at Regent, and that one allowed us to go to college and have that funded, and 2, that was
a stable income.
It was a full-time position, so I had that stable income, and we were able to pay for our college. So it was just really cool watching God work and close the doors on the date and open the door as to how He would do it, because we first relied on Him and picked the day, and we were like, this is the day that God wants us to get married, and then watched God work. And sometimes it's like you have to make a leap of faith for God to show Himself as well as He can. And that was us. We made a leap of faith. August 6th should not have been possible, but God opened those doors up for us to allow us through that.
Right, because like He said, I mean, we decided on the date, and then He got the job. So it was crazy how that all worked out. And another thing that was crazy that happened is my parents live in a beach house, if you guys don't know, and across the street from them there was our neighbors across the street. Their house had a lot of damage from a hurricane, and so they were actually going to tear their house down and build a new house. So they were getting rid of all of their furniture. You guys, this couch, these pillows, all of this stuff in our house.
That chair, this couch.
That you can't see.
The bed frame,
anyway,
the dressers.
All of our furniture is from that house. And had we not chosen that date, it wouldn't have worked out because we would have had nowhere to put this stuff for that long. And it was just crazy. Because we didn't have to buy furniture. Like, who? What? That's crazy. And that was right after we chose the date. And so it was just crazy how we're so blessed.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, because David works at Regent, we both go to school at Regent, we're both getting our education for free.
Yep.
Like, that's legit. That's crazy. Like,
Regent University, yes. Put in my plug there. Yeah, Regent's been fantastic, and it's a great work environment as well. Like, it was just so strange too, because I was very hesitant. I was like, I don't want to work at a Christian university. You know, I'm a Christian poo-pooing that, because I thought I had these stereotypes built up about what that would be like. But it's just been a really open community of people just like that are there to help. And you feel that very much when you're there. So that's just like
and it's been a great education for both of us. We've loved going to Regent as students as well. So now, where we at? So 6.5 months later. Yep. Still married. Just kidding.
Yeah. Our landmark achievement of 6 whole months. We can, believe it or not, we have survived together. I have not killed her. She has not killed me. We are both working together. That's okay.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah.
So now we're finishing school, and we both are actually, this is crazy, guys, because we knew I was going to graduate in May 2018. I kind of had my whole plan, my degree plan written out. And David was supposed to graduate later than me. We didn't know when, because all of these different classes and credits kept switching around. He transferred and crazy. That was not a cute face I just did. Yeah, just make an uglier face than me, and then we're good. So now we are both graduating walking in May. So we're going to be walking, and now that my name has changed, it's literally going to be Danielle Catherine Tippett, David Christian Tippett. We're going to be right next to each other graduating, walking across that stage. Like, that is such a cool thing. That is such a cool thing.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we just got word today
that our offer has been accepted for a house.
So we're getting a house, guys. We are in the process of buying a house. So if everything goes smoothly, then we're gonna be moving soon.
Right.
Same area. We're not like going far away or anything. Don't worry, because I know you guys love us here. But
yeah, it's really cool though. Again, it comes all back to like trusting God and His timing. It's been a constant struggle for us, because we're like, we want to do it our way. Like
everybody does.
Our date was spring 2017.
That's right.
And our plans were this, and our plans were that. And God has said again and again and again, this is not your plan. This is my game, and you're playing in it. So, and it's been awesome. It's really, it's allowed us to trust Him a lot more. And we've had to trust Him because, like I said, when we were getting, or when we picked our date, we didn't have a plan. We were like, God, this is all you, because we don't know what we're doing. And we still don't know what we're doing. But God is, again, coming down to just being faithful in prayer. I mean, we've been praying every single day for a month and a half, 2 months. About, like, God, where do you want us to live?
I was like, we've been praying every single day since, like, 2015. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's true. But no, seriously, like, praying about where God wants us in our house. I mean, like, it seems like such a simple thing. Like, God, what do you have for our lives? So God's just been super faithful in showing us, like, this is my plan for you. He just, like, unveils it before us. He unveils his plan before us. What? It's pretty awesome. So it's just been really cool seeing how God works.
And I was going to say something too, but no, I forgot.
It's okay.
We never thought we would be buying a house within our first year of marriage. Like, guys, 6.5 months, telling you.
We were planning on staying here for like 2 or 3 years.
And we're college students. I'm only 20. He's 22. I mean, like, he'll be 23 and I'll be 21. But that does not even matter. Like, we are young. And I never thought I would be married by the time I'm 20, engaged by the time I'm 19. That's crazy. But that was the Lord's plan for us. And that's what we've done. And it's worked out amazingly. So it doesn't matter how old you are. Don't let people... I mean, if you're like 12, please don't get married. But
right. The point is, don't let people poo-poo you, because God's will is something different than what other people think for your life. I mean, like, if God is talking to you, just do your due diligence and listen. And fun fact, actually, this is something I have to remind a lot of people of, and myself included. If God doesn't want you doing something, I don't think you're going to get away with that. I don't think God is going to be like, oh, they're sneaking away from my plan. God is very good at moving us to where his plan is. So keep your eyes open. If you're faithful, you're in prayer, you're reading your Bible, all of these things, God will reveal his plan to you, like he has for us. And I mean, like, it's kind of weird because I had this very not like, I wasn't always thinking like, oh God, what's your will? You know, like, there were a lot of times where I totally forgot. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. # don't care. And God has really pulled me back and said, well, you thought you were doing that. I have something better for you, but I just need you to come along. All right. And a lot of the times I was like, oh, I don't want to come along for the ride. This is scary. I'm not sure what this feels like. But God was like, nope, don't worry. I got you. And just falling back on him has been really our saving grace. God has really worked in our lives. So
yeah, for sure. So anyway, sorry that this was super long, but I mean, long story, right? That was like 3 years of longness, or
we
longer.
Left out all the like really funny
stories.
all
the fun stories. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll come on live and do like a story here and there.
Funny Story Friday, like in the comments if you want to see a Funny Story Friday.
I know you are. Okay, or if you want to know anything else that we left out, or any more details about something else, because we have stories, we have lots of, and we're open. We'll tell you whatever you want to know, because we've been through, even though we're young, we've been through a lot.
No, it's true. We've
just
been
so
through a
far. Lot. So anyway, thanks for watching and tuning in with us. So yeah, like I said, if you have questions for us, you can message me too if you don't want to like post on here. But
true.
Comment,
like,
give us some hearts, love us, we love you, and anyway, happy Valentine's
weekend. Happy Valentikend. Yes. Valentikend. Yeah. Valentikend.
Nobody likes that.
Anyhow.
Okay. Anyway, so thank you guys. We love you. Talk to you soon. See ya.
Time to go to bed. Night night.
Bye.